So, after nearly 3 months now of playing Warzone, I've finally managed to get my hands on the ultra-rare, almost secret weapon on the map of Verdansk. It's the grenade launcher. Now, this thing is rumoured to have a less than 1% drop chance from crates on the map, and it's completely random in its spawn location as well, so there's no way to know which area of the map that this thing is going to come out on, so you have to be insanely lucky to actually get your hands on it. It's the ultimate RNG system, basically. But I did manage to get my hands on it, and then I had a pretty good round as well, so I'm going to kind of talk you through it as we go through the highlights, the kills, the more tense moments, and some other stuff. I will say that my playstyle does massively contradict my RPG spam video from a couple of weeks back, but come on. Grenade launcher, rarest weapon in the game. I'm gonna use it against infantry to try and get kills with it. Makes me a hypocrite, but do you know what? For this video, I couldn't care less. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Warzone content coming in the future, but now, let's get into this gameplay. Okay, here we go. First kill. You ready to watch me mess it up? I'm not sure why I decided to go at that guy with the FAMAS, which arguably is the worst assault rifle currently available in Warzone. I mean, the Odin isn't brilliant either, but every day of the week, I'll take an Odin over the FAMAS. Now, here is actually sort of the first major part of this match, because I managed to pick up the brand new MP7 blueprint, the Muddrawber. This is the one that you can unlock if you do the Bunker 11 Easter egg, but it's now available in crates just in normal Warzone gameplay, but you don't unlock the blueprint, so the only way to get it is to find it in a Warzone match, and I've actually really liked using this thing, and at the moment I've got it paired with the Odin, but you'll see here that I get extremely lucky, and I managed to get another legendary weapon out of this crate right here. I get this really short-barreled, is it the Grau? I think it's the Grau. It's the short-barreled Grau. And it's got no stock on it, so it's really good, really mobile. So having that and the MP7 side by side at the moment, it sets you up pretty well for the match. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoy coming to Quarry. It makes for some great sort of mid, long, and close quarters combat. And here you can see on the minimap, you can actually see a truck coming up on me, but I think he's heading straight for the buy station, which it turned out that he did. And this is where the Grau blueprint comes into its own. There you go, nicely finished off. But unfortunately, I attract the attention of someone who's up on the cliffs where I've just been. I spent about 2 minutes hanging around on top of the cliff, sort of slowly walking around the edge of the quarry to see if there was anyone hanging about that maybe I could pick off with the assault rifle. But I feel really bad. I killed this guy just as he gets up to the top, and of course, he called in his loadout at the same time. I always feel really bad when I do that to people, because I feel like they've just worked so hard to get that 10k so that they can get their loadout, and then you just completely ruin their day. But that's how it works in Warzone. It's you against the world, so of course you've got to push for these things. Now, this guy is still hanging out on the rock, but there was a guy on a quad bike who ends up going past, and I lost track of him at this point. I wasn't sure where he actually went. And again here, I made a really stupid decision, because I'm not sure why I ran towards this guy who was on the hill. I have no weapon that's capable of taking this guy out, and of course he's just going to keep looking at me until I make a move. So the only option I really have is to kind of smoke out. And that second smoke there, I was trying to sort of throw it on the rocks, and then maybe it would like cover my escape. But to my surprise, he decided to not actually shoot at me, which was quite nice. Maybe he just didn't have a sniper rifle that he was particularly comfortable with, but sometimes I just find that if you push up on someone and it's an unexpected move, they're not sure what to do about it, and especially in solos, because if you don't have a self-revive, and people sometimes don't want to go in the gulag because it's difficult to win sometimes, that people don't like it when you push and they don't really know what to do. Now, this is the most important part of the gameplay, because it shows you how good this MP7 is. Absolutely railed that guy. And then this is the crate here where I get the rocket launcher. It comes out of the scavenger contract crate. Now, I'm not sure if you can get it out of normal crates or legendary crates as well, but I got it from this scavenger crate, so I felt pretty lucky when I was getting it. But of course, at the moment, like having a grenade launcher in mid-round is not particularly helpful. So I swapped it out for that short-barreled Grau, and I've stuck with the MP7 because the MP7 at the moment I am absolutely loving in Warzone, and I'm really comfortable using it, my own loadout version that you won't see in this video because I end up not getting one. And this one here, the Mud Dauber, is actually really, really good. I like the fact that you can switch between the 3 times and just your normal EOTech sight that you've got here. Now, this guy that came parachuting in, I think it was one of the guys that I killed and he won his gulag. And I couldn't find him for nearly a minute. And it turns out he was just literally hiding behind there. But of course, because he had no gun, there was no way he could challenge me. So he just sort of waited it out. That is my MP7, normal MP7 loadout right there on the ground. And I only got that loadout so that I could get Ghost. And the reason that you see the RPG on it is because if I'm coming in sort of like during a squads game and then I want to take Ghost, it's just to have as a secondary weapon, because normally I'm going to have another loadout on me already, and that might have an assault rifle or a sniper rifle, and I'm really just getting the Ghost loadout for the MP7 and the Ghost. I don't really care about the secondary weapons, so I just stick an RPG on there in case I ever might need it. And then you see there, like a couple of seconds ago, there was a guy running across the sort of gangway, and this is me now sitting in the corner listening for footsteps. And you won't be able to hear anything at this point because the guy's actually still too far away. I thought he was going to run in here and then sort of close the gap on me, because I don't think he saw me. So if he didn't, he would be unaware that I was standing right there. So I was thinking, well, maybe if I can listen for his footsteps or something like that. But turns out that he didn't rush me, and I did a little bit of sneaking up on him instead. I got quite lucky in that gunfight, admittedly. I landed a couple of shots on him just before he started shooting me, and in Warzone, the power of landing a shot first in gunfights is ridiculous, especially when you don't have a lot of cover like I didn't there, and he didn't have a lot of cover either. He could move to his right, my left, and he could have gone behind one of those boxes, but landing the first shot in Warzone is super important. Now this bit here, I spot a guy lying prone on the ground. It's the first time I try and use the grenade launcher. I mean, I know I'm against explosive spam, but that's a really good feeling when you use that thing. And you can see why this thing is so rare in Warzone, because but you can fire 6 rounds, which is about as many as you can carry for your rocket launcher, like your RPG, but you can fire them with basically no delay. And I think they do almost the same amount of damage as what an RPG round would do, or at least you can land loads of explosive damage in a much shorter time frame than you can with a launcher. And so that's why I think Infinity Ward has made this like an ultra rare, legendary special weapon, because if there was any more than 1, maybe 2 of these on the map at once, it would just become completely unfair to the rest of the players. Now that kill there, I think I got really lucky. Again, because he had the high ground and he tried to drop away down to the right, and I just got a lucky few shots in at the end where I was sort of just shooting through the grass. I couldn't quite see him. And to be honest, I shouldn't have been using the 3 times optic at that point. I think it actually put me at a disadvantage because of how much it was recoiling about. So I couldn't quite keep my sights on target. If I'd switched back to the 1 times optic, I would have been absolutely fine. Hanging around here, I spent quite a lot of time outside Quarry up on these hills. It's one of my favourite spots on the map, actually, especially if the end zone is over here. Looking at where I'm going now, if you look to the left, that's basically unusable land down there. You know that not too many people are going to be down there. But in this case, some guy in a truck decided to go and pull up down here, and I think he was just setting up for endgame. Either he knew where the end circle was going to be, or he was just guessing based on where the circle was at that time. And unfortunately at this kind of range where he is right now, I think he's just behind those trees coming around the back of the pylon on the right hand side. It's too far for me to shoot him with the MP7, and he would obviously hold the upper hand. Now I've got a precision airstrike, and the reason I called that in because if he was still around the truck, it would make him move away from the truck, and that's exactly what it did, and it got him to move out into the open a little bit more, which then gives me the advantage because I'm above him and I've got the grenade launcher, so it makes it much easier for me to do this. Signed, sealed, and delivered. 2 shots, that's all it took, because the blast was so close to him, it must have done maximum damage. So if you wanted to know, how many shots it takes to kill somebody with the grenade launcher when you're not doing a direct hit, when you're landing shots right next to somebody. That's how little it really takes. And again, it just reinforces why this weapon is the legendary, ultra-rare version of the weapon that Infinity Ward have made it. Now, at this point here, the Gulag has just closed, and we're sort of closing in on the final circle. And there's still quite a few people down in Quarry, and it makes me really happy that I moved this early to get up on the ridge here, because to get out of Quarry, everyone is in full view of me looking right in on them at this point. And it makes it so much easier for me to keep track of where players might be or what's happening. And the loadout drops came in here, so this tells me how many players might still be alive. And a guy gulagged in. Like, he'd been sitting in the sky for ages, waiting for that loadout drop to come in so that he could drop straight on it, get his loadout, and be in with a chance of winning the round. It's actually a tactic that I use quite a lot, especially when I'm playing in squads. If I come back in from the gulag and the rest of my squad is on the ground, then I'll just spend time hanging around in the air waiting for that loadout drop, because then I can come straight in, drop on it, and get the stuff that I need straight away to actually be a threat. Now here, this guy above me was starting to annoy me a little bit because I couldn't quite see him where I was, and you'll notice that at the very beginning of that clip before I cut it, I was actually looking at the hill over on the far right-hand side, and there's a guy all the way over in an area that I cannot get to at this point, and I'm just trying to keep track of them, and for the life of me, I cannot understand why he's not shooting me in the back, which is why I'm using this very thin tree behind me to sort of give a little bit of cover for where I'm actually standing. But this guy was still camping above me, and I couldn't let him go past. I couldn't move away without sort of taking the fight here, which is why I've spent so much time sitting around this area, because I know there are more people still hanging about. And actually, I think this is where it all sort of starts kicking off. He's still looking for me, and he can't quite see me, but there's a guy down to the left who I then think, yeah, he starts shooting at me first of all, and then because the other guy that I was aiming at starts trying to shoot me, the guy that's down to the left ends up getting killed by the other guy because he made noise, and then that leaves me free to try and finish off this guy up here. See, I only get one hit there on the grenade launcher, and you do have to aim quite a bit higher at that kind of range. You don't get a huge amount of range with this thing, and that's where I guess like the RPG and the other launchers really shine. But it's just devastating when it comes to damage. If I'd landed a couple more of those explosive shots, then I would have definitely won. There, that just shows you the power of the MP7 at sort of close to mid-range. It is really, really good. And I didn't realise initially that this guy had a self-revive. I saw downed, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I'll just go and finish him off or whatever. And then I realised I wasn't playing squads. And I'm like, no, that's not what happens here. This is about 30 seconds later, when someone did manage to get out of Quarry without me seeing them. And none of the shots from the grenade launcher there actually worked, but I finished him off pretty quickly with the MP7. If you find this blueprint MP7, it's absolutely brilliant, and 100% you should be taking it. It's a really good option to have in your loadout. And unfortunately, I've got to tell you guys, this is kind of where the gameplay comes to an end, because I do something stupid right here. I leave myself completely exposed on the left-hand side, and there's actually a guy down there where I just looked and didn't see him, and he was sort of using the road and the rock face on the edge there to take me down. As you can see, I'm just completely out in the open, so that's bad on me. But the way this round actually finishes baffles me, and it's one of those things where I'm like, it's fair play on the guy for winning this way, but man, oh man, I really wish this wasn't the way the round ended, because for me, it was a fantastic round with the grenade launcher, and then to see someone else win this way, it's just so infuriating. This guy, I think, yep, he has the munitions box, he's got a riot shield, so because he's put down the munitions box, it tops back up his tactical equipment, and he's got stun grenades. So all he has to do is just wait for this guy to come towards him, and he gets really lucky with the final circle location as well. You can see him moving back there to keep himself in the circle. This guy he has to come towards him. He's got no choice but to move towards him. He stuns him and finishes him off. So GG to that guy for winning, but I had a fantastic round with the grenade launcher. I really enjoyed using this thing, and even after 3 months of Warzone, it was still pretty thrilling to get my chance to actually use it. I'm pretty confident not going to see it for another 3 months. It's that rare. But thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just something a little bit different, doing a live commentary over the top of gameplay that I caught the other day. But once again, massive thanks for all the support that you're giving me on these Warzone videos. Leave me a comment down below, let me know what you think, and leave this video a rating too. It always helps out. And I'll catch you all in the next one.